Friends, seekers of abundance, and fellow travelers on this grand journey of life, I stand before you today with a message that has the power to transform not just your financial situation, but your entire existence. We're about to explore profound truth that, once understood and applied, will revolutionize your relationship with money and open floodgates of abundance you never knew existed. The theme of our discussion today is simple yet powerful. Money will flow your way. Friends, tonight we gather to discuss a profound truth that has the power to transform your life entirely. God is known by experience. This simple yet revolutionary idea holds within it the key of unlocking your true potential and realizing the divine nature that resides within you. As we begin this exploration together, I want you to set aside any preconceived notions you may have about God, about spirituality, about the nature of reality itself. For the God we speak of tonight is not some distant, unknowable entity, but the very essence of your being, waiting to be experienced in every moment of your existence. Consider for a moment the vast tapestry of your life experience, the joys and sorrows, the triumphs and challenges, the moments of quiet reflection and those of passionate engagement with the world around you. In each of these experiences, whether you recognize it or not, you are touching the face of God. For God is not separate from your experiences, but is the very substance of them, the awareness that perceives them, and the creative power that shapes them. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Neville, that sounds wonderful, but how? I've struggled with money my entire life. I've tried everything, and nothing seems to work. I say the solution you seek is not out there in the world of effects, but within you, in the realm of cause. The key to unlocking the flow of money into your life lies not in external actions, but in your consciousness, in your imagination, in your ability to feel and experience abundance before it manifests in your physical reality. This understanding of God as experience is not merely an intellectual concept to be grasped, but a living truth to be embodied. It is a call to awaken to the divine presence that permeates every aspect of your life, to recognize that in each moment you are not merely observing reality, but actively participating in its creation. This recognition is the foundation of true spiritual awakening, the beginning of a journey that will lead you to the very heart of your own divine nature. You see, money, like everything else in our physical world, is simply a manifestation of consciousness. It's an effect, not a cause. The true cause of wealth, of abundance, of financial freedom is the state of consciousness you occupy. And the wonderful news is that you have the power to choose your state of consciousness at any moment. But how does one come to know God through experience? It begins with a shift in perspective, a willingness to see beyond the surface appearances of life and to recognize the underlying unity that connects all things. This shift is not something that happens once and is then complete, but a continuous process of awakening, a daily commitment to seeing the divine in every aspect of your life. This is where most people go wrong in their pursuit of wealth. They focus all their energy on manipulating effects, working longer hours, cutting expenses, chasing better paying jobs. And while these actions can certainly have an impact, they're not addressing the root cause. It's like trying to change your reflection in the mirror by manipulating the mirror itself. The real change happens when you change yourself, and the reflection naturally follows suit. So how do we change our consciousness to allow money to flow freely into our lives? The answer lies in the power of your wonderful human imagination. Your imagination is not some frivolous faculty for daydreaming or escaping reality. It is the very workshop wherein you can create the molds for the life you desire to live. Start by paying attention to the simple experiences of your daily life. The warmth of the sun on your skin, the taste of your morning coffee, the sound of a loved one's laughter. In each of these experiences, there is an opportunity to recognize the presence of God, not as some external force, but as a very awareness that allows you to perceive these experiences, the consciousness that gives them meaning and significance. As you cultivate this awareness, you'll begin to notice a shift in your perception of the world around you. What once seemed mundane or ordinary suddenly takes on a new depth and richness. The people you encounter in your daily life no longer appear as separate individuals, but as unique expressions of the same divine consciousness that animates your own being. The challenges and obstacles you face are no longer seen as problems to be solved, but as opportunities for growth and self-realization. When you close your eyes and vividly create a scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire for wealth, you're not just engaging in wishful thinking. You're actually tuning into the frequency of abundance that already exists within the infinite mind of God, of which you are an individualized expression. Let me give you a practical example. Suppose you are currently struggling to make ends meet. The world around you screams lack and limitation. Bills are piling up and your bank account is dwindling. But in your imagination, you have the power to create a totally different reality. This shift in perception is the beginning of a profound transformation. As you come to know God through your experiences, you'll find that your entire relationship with life begins to change. The fears and anxieties that once held you back begin to dissolve, replaced by a deep sense of trust in the underlying perfection of all things. Your actions become more aligned with your true nature, flowing not from a place of struggle or effort, but from a deep well of inner wisdom and intuition. But this transformation does not happen overnight. It requires patience, persistence, and a willingness to challenge your own long-held beliefs and assumptions. You may find that as you begin to experience God in your daily life, old patterns of thinking and behaving begin to surface, resisting this new understanding. This is natural and to be expected. These old patterns are not your enemies, but signposts pointing the way to areas of your consciousness that are still in need of healing and integration. Close your eyes for a moment. Create a scene in your mind's eye where you're sitting at your desk, looking at your bank statement with a smile of satisfaction. Feel the joy, the relief, the sense of security as you see a balance that far exceeds your wildest dreams. Hear yourself saying to a friend, "Money just keeps flowing into my life effortlessly." Feel the warmth of gratitude washing over you as you contemplate how you can use this abundance to bless your life and the lives of others. As you continue on this journey of knowing God through experience, you'll find that your understanding of prayer and meditation begins to shift as well. No longer will you see these practices as attempts to communicate with a distant deity or to achieve some altered state of consciousness. Instead, they become opportunities to sink deeper into the awareness of God's presence. That is always with you, to align more fully with the divine flow of life that is constantly moving through you and around you. Now here's where the magic happens. As you immerse yourself in this imaginal scene, feeling the joy and gratitude of your desired state, you're not just fantasizing. You're actually tuning into the frequency of abundance that already exists within the infinite mind of God. You're aligning your consciousness with the very source of all wealth and abundance. But it doesn't stop there. The real power comes when you persist in this imaginal act. When you return to it night after night, imbuing it with the feeling of reality. As you do this, something remarkable begins to happen. The world around you starts to shift and change, aligning itself with your inner vision. In your prayers, rather than asking for things or seeking to change external circumstances, you'll find yourself surrendering more fully to the divine presence within you. You'll begin to recognize that true prayer is not about changing God's mind, but about changing your own mind, aligning your thoughts and beliefs with the truth of your divine nature. Meditation, too, takes on a new significance in this light. It becomes not a practice of emptying your mind or achieving some state of blissful detachment, but a profound engagement with the present moment, a direct experience of the God that is always here, always now. As you sit in silence, you'll find that the boundaries between yourself and the world around you begin to blur, revealing the underlying unity that has always been there, waiting to be recognized. Opportunities you never noticed before suddenly become apparent. Resources you didn't know existed become available. People and circumstances arrange themselves to support your newfound prosperity. It might seem like magic, but it's simply the law of consciousness in action. Your outer world must, by necessity, reconfigure itself to match your inner state. But knowing God through experience is not limited to moments of quiet contemplation or spiritual practice. It extends to every aspect of your life, including your relationships with others. As you come to recognize the divine presence within yourself, you'll naturally begin to see it in those around you as well. This recognition transforms your interactions, infusing them with a new depth of compassion, understanding, and love. I'm going to be clear. This isn't about manipulating reality for selfish ends. When you tap into this power, you'll find that your desires naturally align with the highest and best outcomes for everyone involved. You'll no longer be driven by fear or scarcity, but by a desire to express more of your divine nature, to be a channel through which the abundance of the universe can flow to bless yourself and others. This experience of creating wealth through your imagination isn't limited to financial concerns either. It's a pathway to profound spiritual growth and enlightenment. As you practice this art of imaginative creation, you'll find your consciousness. You'll begin to see the world through new eyes, recognizing the divine abundance in every person, every situation, every moment. You'll find that conflicts and misunderstandings that once seemed insurmountable begin to dissolve in the light of this shared divinity. The people in your life, even those who challenge or frustrate you, become mirrors reflecting different aspects of your own divine nature. Each interaction becomes an opportunity to know God more fully, to experience the infinite variety of ways in which the divine expresses itself through human form. This shift in perception extends to your relationship with the natural world as well. As you come to know God through experience, you'll find yourself developing a profound sense of connection with all of life. The trees, the animals, the very earth beneath your feet, all reveal themselves as expressions of the same divine consciousness that animates your own being. This recognition naturally leads to a deepening sense of responsibility and care for the environment, a desire to live in harmony with the natural world rather than in opposition to it. You'll start to understand that the entire universe is a manifestation of infinite abundance. The stars in the sky, the grains of sand on the beach, the leaves on the trees, all of it is an expression of the limitless creativity and abundance of the divine mind. And you, my friends, are an integral part of that mind. But perhaps the most profound transformation that occurs as you come to know God through experience is in your relationship with yourself. The self-doubt, self-criticism, and feelings of unworthiness that may have plagued you in the past begin to dissolve in the light of your growing awareness of your true nature. You come to recognize that you are not separate from God, not some flawed creature striving for perfection, but a unique and perfect expression of the divine, exactly as you are in this moment. This realization is truly liberating. It frees you from the prison of lack and limitation that most people live in. When you know, not just intellectually, but through direct experience, that you are one with the infinite abundance of the universe, what is there to fear? What can possibly stand between you and the wealth you desire to experience? Now, I can almost hear some of you thinking, but Neville, this all sounds too good to be true. Surely it can't be that simple. And to that I say, why not? Why shouldn't the truth be simple, elegant, and accessible to all? The complexity and confusion we often associate with wealth creation are human inventions, not divine truths. This recognition does not lead to complacency or a lack of desire for growth and improvement. On the contrary, it fuels a passionate engagement with life, a desire to express your divine nature more fully in every moment. But this desire comes not from a place of lack or inadequacy, but from an overflowing abundance, a joy in the process of becoming more fully yourself. As you deepen your experience of God in your daily life, you may find that your goals and aspirations begin to shift. What once seemed important may lose its appeal, while new possibilities that you had never considered before suddenly present themselves. This is not a cause for concern, but a natural result of aligning more fully with your true nature. As you come to know God through experience, your desires naturally align with the divine will, which is nothing other than the deepest, truest desire of your own heart. The reality is, this practice of creating wealth through your imagination is available to everyone, regardless of background, education, or current financial circumstances. It doesn't require special knowledge, expensive courses, or years of study. All it requires is your willingness to try, to open your mind to new possibilities, and to persist in the face of initial doubts or setbacks. Let me share a personal anecdote that illustrates this point. Years ago, when I first began exploring these ideas, I was far from wealthy. In fact, I was struggling to make ends meet. I had been raised with traditional belief about money, that it was scarce, that you had to work hard for every penny, that wealth was for other people, not for me. This alignment with your true nature brings with it a profound sense of purpose and direction. No longer will you find yourself struggling to figure out what you should do with your life or how to make important decisions. Instead, you'll find that the right course of action reveals itself naturally in each moment, guided by an inner wisdom that arises from your direct experience of the divine. But I decided to put these principles to the test. Every night, before I went to sleep, I would create a scene in my imagination that implied wealth and abundance. I would feel the joy of writing checks for large amounts without any concern for the balance in my account. I would imagine looking at my bank statement and seeing a number that far exceeded anything I had ever experienced in my physical reality. But this guidance does not always lead you down easy or comfortable paths. Knowing God through experience often requires you to step out of your comfort zone, to face your fears and limitations head-on. It may call you to take actions that seem risky or unconventional from the perspective of the ego, but which you know in the depths of your being are absolutely right and necessary. For weeks, I persisted in this imaginal act, imbuing it with all the sensory vividness and emotional reality I could muster. And then, seemingly out of nowhere, opportunities began to present themselves. A business idea that I had previously dismissed suddenly seemed viable. People came into my life who had the resources and connections to help me succeed. Ideas for creating value and serving others flooded my mind. This willingness to follow your inner guidance, even when it leads you into unfamiliar territory, is a crucial aspect of knowing God through experience. It requires trust, not in some external authority or set of beliefs, but in the divine wisdom that presents. As you cultivate this trust, you'll find that life begins to flow more smoothly, that opportunities and synchronicities appear just when you need them, guiding you ever deeper into the experience of your true nature. But even as you follow this inner guidance, it's important to remember that knowing God through experience is not about achieving some final state of enlightenment or perfection. It is an ongoing process, a continuous unfolding of your divine nature. Each experience, whether perceived as positive or negative, is an opportunity to know God more fully, to recognize the divine presence in yet another aspect of your life. Within a matter of months, my financial situation had completely transformed. Money was flowing to my life from multiple sources, often in ways I could never have predicted or planned. That's the most important part. The outer transformation was simply a reflection of the inner transformation that had already taken place. In my imagination, in my consciousness, I was already wealthy. The physical manifestation was just catching up to that inner reality. This experience was a turning point for me. It demonstrated, in a very tangible way, the power of imagination in creating wealth. But more than that, it showed me that abundance, true abundance, wasn't some distant, unknowable state. It was a living presence within me, responding to my thoughts and feelings, shaping my reality according to my inner state. This understanding transforms your relationship with challenges and difficulties. Rather than seeing them as obstacles to be overcome or problems to be solved, you begin to recognize them as invitations to know God more deeply. The loss of a job becomes an opportunity to experience the God that is your true security and provision. A conflict in a relationship becomes a chance to know the God that is unconditional love and forgiveness. Even physical pain or illness can be transformed into a profound spiritual experience, an opportunity to know the God that is your true, indestructible nature beyond the body. As you cultivate this perspective, you'll find that your life takes on a quality of adventure and exploration. Each day becomes an opportunity to experience God in new and unexpected ways, to push the boundaries of your understanding and to express your divine nature more fully. This sense of adventure infuses even the most mundane aspects of your life with a sense of meaning and purpose. I want to be clear, this isn't about some sort of wishful thinking or magical money manifestation. It's about aligning yourself with the creative power of the universe, recognizing your oneness with the divine mind that is the source of all abundance. When you do this, you naturally begin to manifest experiences and circumstances that are in harmony with that state of abundance. But knowing God through experience is not just about your individual journey of awakening. As you come to recognize the divine presence in your own life, you naturally begin to see it in the world around you as well. You start to recognize that every person you encounter, every situation you find yourself in, is a unique expression of the same divine consciousness that you are coming to know within yourself. This brings us to an important point: responsibility. As you begin to recognize and experience your oneness with the infinite abundance of the universe, you also must accept the profound responsibility that comes with it. You are no longer a helpless victim of economic circumstances, but a conscious co-creator of your financial reality. This means taking full responsibility for your thoughts, feelings, and imaginings about money. It means recognizing that every inner state, every assumption you hold about wealth and abundance is contributing to the shaping of your financial experience. This recognition has profound implications for how you engage with the world. You begin to see that your actions and choices ripple out into the world, affecting not just your own life, but the lives of countless others. This awareness brings with it a sense of responsibility, a desire to act in ways that align with your highest understanding of truth and love. If you habitually dwell in states of lack, scarcity, or financial anxiety, you're using this divine power to create more of those experiences in your life. On the other hand, if you cultivate states of abundance, prosperity, and financial freedom, you're aligning yourself with the highest expression of wealth and abundance. You may find yourself called to serve others in new and unexpected ways, to share the insights and understandings you've gained through your own experiences of God. But this service comes not from a place of superiority or a desire to fix or change others, but from a recognition of the essential unity of all life. You serve others because in doing so, you are serving the God that expresses itself through all beings. As you continue on this journey of knowing God through experience, you may find that your understanding of time begins to shift as well. The past loses its power to define you or limit your possibilities. The future ceases to be a source of anxiety or a goal to be strived for. Instead, you find yourself more and more fully present in the eternal now, recognizing that it is only in this present moment that God can be truly known and experienced. This responsibility extends beyond just your personal finances. As you begin to experience your oneness with the infinite abundance of the universe, you'll naturally feel a greater sense of connection with all of humanity. You'll recognize that we are all expressions of the one divine mind, all interconnected in ways that go beyond our physical senses. This presence in the now doesn't mean that you cease to plan for the future or learn from the past. Rather, it infuses your engagement with past and future with a new quality of aliveness and possibility. You recognize that your memories of the past are not fixed, immutable things, but living experiences that can be reinterpreted and transformed in the light of your growing understanding. Your visions of the future become not rigid expectations, but fluid possibilities, expressions of the creative power of God working through you in each moment. This realization leads to a natural outpouring of generosity. You'll find yourself naturally wanting to share your abundance, not out of a sense of obligation or guilt, but because you recognize that in giving, you open yourself to receive even more. You'll understand that money is simply a tool for expressing love, for adding value to the world, for participating in the eternal dance of giving and receiving that is the nature of the universe. As you deepen your experience of God in your daily life, you may find that your understanding of death and mortality begins to shift as well. The fear of death that haunts so many people begins to dissolve as you recognize that your true nature, the God that you are coming to know, to experience, is eternal and indestructible. Death is seen not as an end, but as a transition, another opportunity. Now, I know that for some of you, this idea of creating wealth through your imagination might seem at odds with traditional teachings about money. You might be wondering, isn't this just greed? Aren't we supposed to be content with what we have? But this shift in perspective doesn't mean that you become indifferent to your physical existence or careless with your life. On the contrary, it infuses your life with a new vitality and appreciation. Each moment becomes precious, not because it's fleeting or limited, but because it's an opportunity to experience and express the eternal, unlimited nature of, I would say, look closely at the teachings of the great spiritual masters throughout history. Jesus spoke of abundance. I have come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly. Buddha taught the middle way, neither excess nor deprivation. The great mystics of every tradition have pointed to the truth of our oneness with the infinite abundance of the universe. But even as you come to know God more fully through your experiences, it's important to remember that God always remains, in some sense, a mystery. No matter how deep your understanding grows, there will always be more to discover, more ways in which the divine can express itself through your life. This ongoing mystery is not a limitation, but the very thing that makes the journey of knowing God through experience endlessly fascinating and rewarding. What I'm sharing with you today is not a rejection of spiritual wisdom, but a direct path to experiencing the truth that all great teachings point towards. It's a way of moving beyond belief to direct knowledge, beyond faith to experience. As you continue on this journey, you may find that your understanding of success and achievement begins to shift as well. The external markers of success that society often emphasizes, wealth, status, power, begin to lose their allure. Instead, you find yourself measuring your life by how fully you're able to express your divine nature, how deeply you're able to experience God in each moment. Think about it this way. If God is infinite and omnipresent, as most spiritual traditions teach, then where could abundance possibly be except everywhere, including within you? The idea that wealth is something separate from you, something you need to chase or struggle for, is a limited human conception that falls far short of the magnificent truth. The truth is, you are never separate from the infinite abundance of the universe. You couldn't be, even if you wanted to. Just as a wave can never be separate from the ocean, you can never be separate from the infinite creative power that is the source of all wealth and abundance. Your very existence is a continuous expression of this divine abundance. This shift doesn't mean that you cease to strive or that you become passive in the face of life's challenges. On the contrary, it infuses your actions with a new sense of purpose and power. You begin to recognize that true achievement is not about accumulating or conquering, but about aligning more and more fully with the divine flow of life, about allowing God to express itself more completely through you. As you deepen your experience of God in your daily life, you may find that your creativity begins to flourish in new and unexpected ways. Whether you're an artist, a business person, a parent, or engaged in any other form of creative expression, you'll find that your actions begin to flow from a deeper source. You recognize that all true creativity is an expression of the divine creative power working through you, and you learn to step out of the way and allow that power to manifest in its own unique way. Now, I want to address something that might be coming up for some of you. You might be thinking, if I'm one with infinite abundance, if I have this power to create wealth through my imagination, why isn't my bank account overflowing? Why do I still struggle with money? This is a profound question, and it gets to the heart of why this practice of creating wealth through imagination is so important. You see, while you are always one with infinite abundance, you're not always conscious of this oneness. Your habitual thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions about money act like a veil, obscuring your true nature. This understanding transforms your relationship with the creative process. You no longer struggle to come up with ideas or force yourself to be creative. Instead, you learn to listen, to attune yourself to divine inspiration that is always present, waiting to be expressed through you. Your creations become not just expressions of your individual talents and abilities, but channels through which the divine can make itself known in the world. As you continue on this journey of knowing God through experience, you may find that your understanding of love begins to deepen and expand. You recognize that true love is not just an emotion or a feeling, but the very essence of God, the underlying reality that connects all. This recognition transforms your relationships, infusing them with a new depth and richness. The financial challenges you experience are not punishments or tests from an external God. They're the natural outpicturing of your own inner states, your own beliefs and assumptions about money and abundance. They're also opportunities for growth, for expanding your consciousness and deepening your experience of the abundant nature of the universe. This is why the practice of imagining wealth is so powerful. It's a way of consciously aligning yourself with your true nature, of lifting the veil and experiencing your oneness with infinite abundance. As you do this consistently, you'll find that your financial situation begins to shift. It either resolves itself or transforms into opportunities for growth and expansion. You begin to see that love is not something to be sought or achieved, but a reality to be recognized and expressed. Your capacity to love grows not through effort or striving, but through your willingness to open yourself more fully to the divine love that is always present within you. This love extends not just to those close to you, but to all beings, even those who may have hurt or wronged you in the past. But even as your capacity for love expands, you recognize that true love is not about losing yourself in another or becoming dependent on external sources of affection. Instead, it's about recognizing the divine beloved within yourself and within all beings. This recognition allows you to love more fully and freely, without attachment or expectation. But here's the kick. This isn't about escaping or denying the financial challenges of life. It's about facing them from a place of inner abundance and divine connection. When you know, really know, through direct experience, that you are one with the infinite abundance of the universe, you approach financial challenges with a whole new perspective. As you deepen your experience of God in your daily life, you may find that your relationship with your own thoughts and emotions begins to shift as well. You start to recognize that you are not your thoughts or emotions, but the awareness that perceives them. This recognition brings with it a profound sense of freedom and peace. Instead of feeling victimized or overwhelmed by money problems, you recognize each challenge as an opportunity to express more of your abundant nature. You bring the full power of your imagination to bear, envisioning positive outcomes and feeling the reality of those outcomes in advance. This doesn't mean that your financial situation will change overnight. The external circumstances of your life may take time to catch up with your new inner state. But what changes immediately is your experience of money. You no longer feel like a helpless victim of economic forces, but a conscious creator of your financial reality. You learn to observe your thoughts and emotions without becoming entangled in them, to let them flow through you without resistance. This doesn't mean that you become cold or detached. On the contrary, you're able to engage more fully with your experiences because you're no longer identified with them. You recognize that each thought, each emotion, is another opportunity to experience God, another way in which the divine is expressing itself through you. Now let's talk about how you can begin to put this into practice in your daily life. The first step is to set aside time each day for what I call financial imagination. This isn't about reciting affirmations or visualizing piles of money. It's about entering a state of relaxed awareness and consciously creating inner experiences that align with your desire for wealth and abundance. This shift in perspective also transforms your understanding of healing and personal growth. As you recognize that true healing is not about fixing or changing yourself, but about aligning more fully with your true nature. The parts of yourself that you once saw as flaws or weaknesses are recognized as unique expressions of the divine, each offering its own gifts and lessons. Find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths, allowing your body to relax and your mind to become calm. Then begin to create a scene in your imagination that implies the fulfillment of your desire for wealth. You learn to approach your own growth and development, not from a place of lack or inadequacy, but from a recognition of your inherent wholeness and perfection. Each step on your journey becomes not an attempt to become something you're not, but an opportunity to express more fully who you truly are. As you continue to know God through experience, you may find that your understanding of power begins to shift as well. You recognize that true power comes not from controlling or dominating others or the world around you, but from aligning yourself more fully with the divine power that flows through all things. For example, you might imagine yourself confidently paying all your bills with plenty left over. Feel the relief, the sense of security, the joy of abundance. Make it as real and vivid as possible in your imagination. Or you might imagine yourself making a significant donation to a cause you care about, feeling the joy of being able to make a difference in the world through your abundance. This power is not something to be grasped or achieved, but a reality to be recognized and allowed. As you learn to align yourself with this power, you find that your actions become more effective, your words more impactful, your presence more transformative. But this power never becomes a source of ego or pride, for you recognize that it is not your own, but a gift of the divine working through you. Throughout this journey of knowing God through experience, it's important to remember that this is not a path of isolation or withdrawal from the world. On the contrary, as you come to recognize the divine presence more fully in your own life, you're called to engage more deeply and authentically with the world around you. You might imagine yourself starting that business you've always dreamed of, telling the excitement and satisfaction of turning your passion into a profitable venture. Whatever scene you choose, make it as real and vivid as possible. See through your own eyes, hear through your ears, feel with your own heart. And most importantly, feel the emotions you would feel if this scene were actually happening in your physical reality. You begin to see that every interaction, every relationship, every situation in your life is an opportunity to know God more fully, to express your divine nature more completely. Your work, whatever it may be, becomes a form of worship, a way of bringing the divine into manifestation through your actions and creations. Your relationships become sacred encounters, opportunities to recognize and honor the divine in others. As you deepen your experience of God in your daily life, you may find that your understanding of time begins to shift. The past, present, and future are recognized not as separate, linear segments, but as aspects of the eternal now in which God is always present. This recognition frees you from the burden of regret over the past or anxiety about the future. You learn to live more fully in the present moment, recognizing it as the only point of power, the only place where God can be truly known and experienced. As you imagine this scene, allow yourself to feel the emotions you would feel if it were actually happening. Feel the gratitude, the joy, the sense of freedom and security. These feelings are the bridge between your current financial state and the state of abundance you desire. Persist in this imaginal act for as long as it feels natural. Then, gently open your eyes and go about your day. But here's the key: carry the feeling of your imaginal experience with you. Let it color your perceptions and interactions throughout the day. This shift in your perception of time doesn't mean you become irresponsible or careless about the future. Instead, you approach the future with a deep trust in the divine order of things, knowing that as you align yourself more fully with your true nature, the right actions and opportunities will present themselves at the perfect time. As you practice this regularly, you'll begin to notice changes. At first, they might be subtle. A shift in your mood when you think about money, a new idea or inspiration for increasing your income. But as you persist, you'll start to see more tangible changes in your external circumstances. Your memories of the past, too, take on a new significance. They're no longer seen as fixed, immutable events that define or limit you, but as fluid experiences that can be reinterpreted and transformed in the light of your growing understanding. You recognize that in each moment, you have the power to choose how you relate to your past, to find the divine lessons and gifts even in experiences that once seemed painful or limiting. As you continue on this journey of knowing God through experience, you may find that your relationship with the natural world begins to deepen and transform. You start to recognize the divine presence not just in your own being, but in every aspect of the world around you. The trees, the animal, the earth itself are seen as expressions of the same divine consciousness that you're coming to know within yourself. You might find yourself naturally taking actions that increase your wealth. Opportunities for earning or investing money might appear that you previously overlooked. You might find yourself making wiser financial decisions, guided by a new state of abundance consciousness. This is the power of aligning your consciousness with the infinite abundance of the universe. You're not forcing changes to happen through sheer willpower. You're allowing the infinite creative power of the universe to work through you, bringing your outer world into alignment with your inner state of abundance. This recognition fosters a profound sense of connection and responsibility towards the environment. You begin to see that caring for the earth is not just a matter of preserving resources or maintaining ecological balance, but a way of honoring and nurturing the divine presence that expresses itself through all of nature. Your actions become more aligned with this understanding, guided by a deep respect for the interconnectedness of all life. But even as you recognize the divine in the natural world, you also come to understand that your true nature transcends the physical realm. You are not your body, though you experience life through it. You are not the ever-changing phenomena of the world, though you witness and participate in them. You are the unchanging awareness, the eternal consciousness in which all experiences arise and subside. Now, I want to address a common misconception. Some people hear about this practice and think it's about escaping reality or denying financial challenges when they arise. Nothing could be further from the truth. This practice isn't about ignoring your current financial circumstances or pretending that everything is perfect when it's not. It's about recognizing a deeper truth, that your inner state, your consciousness, is the true cause of your outer financial circumstance. By consciously choosing to align your inner state with abundance, you're not denying reality. You're actively participating in the creation of a new financial reality. This understanding brings with it a profound sense of freedom. You're no longer bound by the limitations of the physical body or the constraints of your personal history. You recognize that in each moment, you have the power to choose how you relate to your experiences, to align yourself more fully with your true nature regardless of external circumstances. As you deepen your experience of God in your daily life, you may find that your understanding of prayer and meditation begins to transform. These practices are no longer seen as attempts to communicate with a distant deity or to achieve some altered state of consciousness. Instead, they become opportunities to sink more deeply into the awareness of God's presence that is always with you, to align more fully with the divine flow of life that is constantly moving through you and around you. This doesn't mean you ignore bills when they come due or neglect practical financial management, but it does mean that you approach these tasks from a place of inner abundance and divine connection. Instead of reacting with fear or stress when you see a bill, you respond with creativity and confidence, knowing that you have the infinite abundance of the universe working through you. As you practice this, you'll find that your entire perspective on money begins to shift. you'll start to see every financial transaction, every money-related experience as an opportunity to know your abundant nature more deeply, to express more of your divine nature in your prayers rather than asking for things or seeking to change external circumstances. You find yourself surrendering more fully to the divine presence within you. You recognize that true prayer is not about changing God's mind, but about changing your own mind, aligning your thoughts and beliefs with the truth of your divine nature. Meditation, too, takes on a new significance. It becomes not a practice of emptying your mind or achieving some state of blissful detachment, but a profound engagement with the present moment, a direct experience of the God that is always here. As you sit in silence, you find that the boundaries between yourself and the world around you begin to blur, revealing the underlying unity that has always been there, waiting to be recognized. You'll begin to recognize the abundance in others, even those who might appear to be struggling financially. You'll see challenging financial situations not as problems to be solved, but as opportunities for growth and expansion. But knowing God through experience is not limited to formal spiritual practices. It extends to every aspect of your life, including your relationships with others. As you come to recognize the divine presence within yourself, you naturally begin to see it in those around you as well. This recognition transforms your interactions, infusing them with a new depth of compassion, understanding, and love. This shift in perspective is truly liberating. It frees you from the scarcity mentality that plagues so many people. You no longer feel at the mercy of economic forces because you recognize that those forces are simply reflecting your own inner state. But with this freedom comes responsibility. As you begin to experience your oneness with infinite abundance, you must also accept responsibility for your thoughts, feelings, and imaginings about money. You can no longer blame the economy, your job, or your background for your financial situation. You must recognize that you're the author of your financial. You find that conflicts and misunderstandings that once seemed insurmountable begin to dissolve in the light of this shared divinity. The people in your life, even those who challenge or frustrate you, become mirrors reflecting different aspects of your own divine nature. Each interaction becomes an opportunity to know God more fully, to experience the infinite variety of ways in which the divine expresses itself through human form. As you continue on this journey of knowing God through experience, you may find that your understanding of forgiveness begins to deepen. You recognize that true forgiveness is not about condoning harmful actions or pretending that hurt never happened. Instead, it's about releasing yourself from the burden of resentment and anger, about recognizing the divine even in those who have wronged you. This responsibility might seem daunting at first, but it's actually incredibly empowering. It means that you have the power to change your financial reality to create experiences of wealth and abundance, simply by changing your inner. Now, I want to address something that often comes up when people begin this practice. You might find that as you start to align yourself with the infinite abundance of the universe, certain aspects of your financial life begin to change in ways you didn't expect. This forgiveness is not something you do for the sake of others, but for your own peace and freedom. As you forgive, you free yourself from the limitations of the past, opening yourself more fully to the divine presence that is always available in the present moment. You recognize that holding on to grievances only obscures your experience of God, while forgiveness clears the way for a fuller recognition of the divine in all. But this journey of knowing God through experience is not always easy or comfortable. There may be times when you feel lost or confused, when the divine presence seems distant or obscured. In these moments, it's important to remember that these experiences, too, are part of your journey. They are opportunities to deepen your trust, to strengthen your commitment to knowing God, even in the midst of challenge or uncertainty. Income sources that no longer align with your new state of consciousness might begin to dry up. New opportunities that resonate with your true purpose might suddenly appear. You might feel called to make financial decisions that your old self would have found frightening or impossible. These moments of doubt or difficulty are not failures or setbacks, but invitations to know God in new and unexpected ways. They challenge you to look beyond your preconceptions, to find the divine presence even in experiences that seem to contradict it. As you learn to do this, your understanding of God expands, becoming more inclusive, more all-encompassing. This is all part of the process. As you align yourself with infinite abundance, your life naturally begins to reflect this alignment. things that are out of harmony with your true abundant nature will begin to fall away, making room for experiences that are in alignment with who you truly are. As you deepen your experience of God in your daily life, you may find that your understanding of purpose and meaning begins to shift. You recognize that your true purpose is not something external to be achieved or accomplished, but an internal reality to be recognized and expressed. Your purpose is simply to be yourself, and to allow the divine to express itself through you in your own unique. This can be uncomfortable at times. Change, even positive change, can be challenging. But remember, this is all part of your growth, your expansion into a fuller expression of your abundant nature. This understanding frees you from the pressure to prove yourself or to live up to external expectations. You recognize that you're already complete, already perfect in your essence. Your journey is not about becoming something you're not, but about expressing more fully who you trust the process. I trust the wisdom of the infinite abundance within you. It knows far better than your limited human mind what experiences and circumstances will best serve your highest good and allow you to express your abundance most fully. As you continue this practice of creating wealth through your imagination, you'll find that your entire relationship with money becomes a kind of prayer, a continuous communion with the divine abundance of the universe. Every financial transaction, every thought about money becomes an opportunity to express more of your true abundant nature, to know your oneness with infinite abundance more deep. But this doesn't mean that you become passive or indifferent to the world around you. On the contrary, as you align more fully with your true nature, you find yourself moved to act in ways that bring more light, more love, more beauty into the world. Your actions become not burdens or obligations, but joyful expressions of your divine nature. As you continue on this journey of knowing God through experience, you may find that your understanding of abundance and prosperity begins to transform. You recognize that true abundance is not about accumulating material possessions or financial wealth, but about aligning yourself with the infinite abundance of the divine. You'll begin to see the world through new eyes. The prosperity of others will no longer trigger feelings of envy or lack, but will be seen as a reflection of the abundance that is available to all. The flow of money in the world will be recognized as a movement of divine energy constantly circulating to where it's most needed and valued. This continuous awareness of abundance doesn't mean you'll float through life in a state of blissful detachment from financial matters. On the contrary, you'll find yourself more fully engaged with your finances than ever before. You'll approach your work, your investments, your financial decisions with a new sense of purpose and joy, recognizing each as an opportunity to express your abundant nature. You begin to see that lack and limitation are illusions born of a limited perception of reality. As you open yourself to the experience of God in all things, you recognize that everything you need is always available to you. This doesn't mean that material wealth magically appears in your life, but that you develop a deep trust in the divine provision, a recognition that you are always supported and cared for. Now, I want to address a question that often arises when people begin this practice. What about financial setbacks or losses? How do I maintain this state of abundance consciousness when things seem to be going wrong? This understanding transforms your relationship with money and material possessions. They're no longer seen as sources of security or symbols of success, but as tools to be used in service of your highest purpose. You learn to use them wisely and joyfully without becoming attached to them or identified with them. As you deepen your experience of God in your daily life, you may find that your relationship with your own body begins to shift. You recognize that your body is not who you are, but a vehicle through which you experience life in the physical realm. This recognition brings with it a profound sense of freedom and an increased ability to care for your body with love and respect. This is a profound question, and it gets to the heart of what it means to truly align with infinite abundance. Remember, when we speak of abundance, we are talking about aligning ourselves with the infinite creative power of the universe. This power isn't limited by what appears to be happening in the physical world at any given moment. When you experience what appears to be a financial setback, it's crucial to remember that this is just a temporary arrangement of effects. The causing your consciousness of abundance remains unchanged. Your job in these moments is to hold fast to your knowing of abundance, to refuse to be moved by appearances. You begin to see your body as a sacred temple, a dwelling place for the divine. This doesn't mean that you become obsessed with physical perfection or health, but that you develop a deep appreciation for the miracle of your physical existence. You learn to listen to your body, to honor its needs, and to use it as an instrument for expressing your divine nature in the world. But even as you honor and care for your body, you recognize that your true nature transcends the physical. You are not limited by your body's conditions or constrained by its apparent limitations. You learn to access the unlimited power and potential of your divine nature, expressing it through your physical form in ways that may seem miraculous to others. This doesn't mean denying or ignoring the situation. It means looking deeper, beyond the surface appearance, to the infinite abundance that is your true nature. It means asking yourself, how would I feel? What would I do if I knew that this situation was actually part of a larger movement towards greater abundance? As you continue on this journey of knowing God through experience, you may find that your understanding of death begins to transform. Death is no longer seen as an ending or a loss, but as a transition, another opportunity to know God more fully. The fear of death that haunts so many people begins to dissolve as you recognize that your true nature, the God that you are coming to know through experience, is eternal and indestructible. As you hold the state of abundance, even in the face of apparent lack, you'll find that the situation begins to shift. Solutions appear that you couldn't have conceived of before. Resources become available in unexpected ways. What initially appeared to be a loss transforms into an opportunity for even greater abundance. This shift in perspective doesn't mean that you become indifferent to your physical existence or careless with your life. On the contrary, it infuses your life with a new vitality and appreciation. Each moment becomes precious, not because it's fleeting or limited, but because it's an opportunity to experience and express the eternal, unlimited nature of God. This understanding has profound implications for how we approach financial planning and decision-making. It shifts us from a mindset of scarcity and risk aversion to one of abundance and inspired action. We begin to see that our financial well-being isn't dependent on carefully hoarding limited resources, but on aligning ourselves with the infinite flow of abundance and allowing it to express through us in ever-expanding ways. As you deepen your experience of God in your daily life, you may find that your relationship with knowledge and learning begins to shift. You recognize that true wisdom comes not from accumulating information or mastering intellectual concepts, but from direct experience of the divine presence in all things. As you deepen your practice of creating wealth through your imagination, you'll find this awareness of abundance growing stronger. You'll naturally begin to make financial choices that benefit not just yourself, but your community, your society, even the planet as a whole. This doesn't mean that you cease to learn or that you dismiss intellectual pursuits. Instead, you approach learning with a new perspective, recognizing that all true knowledge is ultimately self-knowledge, a deepening understanding of your own divine nature. You learn to see every experience, every piece of information as an opportunity to know God more fully. This isn't about sacrificing your own financial well-being for the greater good. Rather, it's about recognizing that your true financial desires, the desires that spring from your abundant nature, are always in harmony with the highest good. But even as your understanding grows, you recognize that God always remains, in some sense, a mystery. No matter how deep your knowledge becomes, there will always be more to discover, more ways in which the divine can express itself through your life. This ongoing mystery is not a limitation, but the very thing that makes the journey of knowing God through experience endlessly fascinating and rewarding. Now let's talk about persistence. So this practice of creating wealth through your imagination isn't a one-time event. It's not something you do once and then sit back and wait for money to rain from the sky. It's a continuous process, a way of life. As you continue on this journey, you may find that your understanding of creativity begins to transform. You recognize that all true creativity comes from aligning yourself with the divine creative power that is the source of all. Your creative expressions, whether in art, business, relationships, or any other area of life, become channels through which the divine can make itself known in the world. Just as you would expect to transform your physical body by going to the gym once, you can't expect to transform your financial reality by engaging in this practice sporadically. It requires consistent, persistent effort. This doesn't mean you need to spend hours each day in meditation or contemplation, but it does mean consistently returning to the truth of your abundant nature, consistently choosing to align your thoughts and feelings about money with the state of abundance you desire to experience. This understanding frees you from the fear of failure or the pressure to produce. You learn to trust the creative process, to allow ideas and inspirations to flow through you without resistance or judgment. Your creations become not just expressions of your individual talents and ability, but manifestations of the divine creative power working through you. As you deepen your experience of God in your daily life, you may find that your relationship with time begins to shift. You recognize that true time is not the linear progression of events that we typically perceive, but the eternal now in which all possibilities exist simultaneously. This recognition frees you from the tyranny of clock time, allowing you to live more fully in the present moment when doubts arise, and they will gently bring your attention back to the truth of who you are. When external circumstances seem to contradict your inner knowing of abundance, hold fast to your vision. Remember, the outer world is a reflection of your inner state. As you persist in holding the inner state of abundance, the outer world must, by law, come into alignment. This doesn't mean that you become irresponsible or neglectful of your commitments. Instead, you learn to move through time with a new fluidity and grace. You recognize that each moment contains within it the fullness of eternity, that God can be known and experienced fully in any instant, regardless of what the clock says. This persistence is key. It's what separates those who experience profound, lasting financial transformation from those who see only fleeting changes. It's what allows you to weather financial storms with grace and equanimity, knowing that regardless of external appearances, you are always one with the infinite abundance of the universe. As you continue on this journey of knowing God through experience, you may find that your understanding of love deepens and expands. You recognize that true love is not an emotion or a feeling, but the very essence of God, the underlying reality that connects all things. This recognition transforms your relationships, infusing them with a new depth and richness. As you persist in this practice, you'll find that it becomes easier and more natural. What once required conscious effort becomes second nature. You'll find yourself naturally thinking from a state of abundance, naturally assuming the feeling of wealth and prosperity. This is when life becomes truly magical. You'll find yourself in a state of flow where financial opportunities and synchronicities abound. You'll look back on your old way of thinking about money and wonder how you ever lived that way. You begin to see that love is not something to be sought or achieved, but a reality to be recognized and expressed. Your capacity to love grows not through effort or striving, but through your willingness to open yourself more fully to the divine love that is always present within you. This love extends not just to those close to you, but to all beings, even those who may have hurt or wronged you in the past. But even as your capacity for love expands, you recognize that true love is not about losing yourself in another or becoming dependent on external sources of affection. Instead, it's about recognizing the divine beloved within yourself and within all beings. This recognition allows you to love more fully and freely, without attachment or expectation. But remember, this isn't about reaching some final destination of wealth. There's no end point where you can say, I've arrived, I'm financially set for life. This is an ongoing journey of expansion and growth. As you align more fully with your abundant nature, you'll find new desires arising, new vistas of possibility opening up before you. As you deepen your experience of God in your daily life, you may find that your relationship with your own thoughts and emotions begins to shift. You start to recognize that you're not your thoughts or emotions, but the awareness that perceives them. This recognition brings with it a profound sense of freedom and peace. This is the nature of the infinite. There's always more to experience, more to express, more to become. And that's the true joy of this practice, the continuous unfolding of your abundant potential. Now, I want to address something that often comes up as people deepen their practice. You might find yourself experiencing what some spiritual traditions call the dark night of the soul. This is a period where old beliefs about money and abundance are falling away, but new ones haven't fully taken root yet. You learn to observe your thoughts and emotions without becoming entangled in them, to let them flow through you without resistance. This doesn't mean that you become cold or detached. On the contrary, you're able to engage more fully with your experiences because you're no longer identified with them. You recognize that each thought, each emotion is another opportunity to experience God, another way in which the divine is expressing itself. During this time, you might feel lost, confused, or uncertain about your financial future. You might question everything you thought you knew about money. This is perfectly normal. In fact, it's a sign of progress. It means you're shedding all limitations and opening yourself to a greater truth about abundance. This shift in perspective also transforms your understanding of healing and personal growth. You recognize that true healing is not about fixing or changing yourself, but about aligning more fully with your true nature. The parts of yourself that you once saw as flaws or weaknesses are recognized as unique expressions of the divine, each offering its own gifts and lessons. If you find yourself in this space, be gentle with yourself. Remember, this is all part of the process of aligning more fully with your abundant nature. Trust the wisdom of the infinite abundance within you. It knows exactly what experiences you need to grow and expand. You learn to approach your own growth and development, not from a place of lack or inadequacy, but from a recognition of your inherent wholeness and perfection. Each step on your journey becomes not an attempt to become something you're not, but an opportunity to express more fully who you truly are. As you continue to know God through experience, you may find that your understanding of power begins to shift. You recognize that true power comes not from controlling or dominating others or the world around you, but from aligning yourself more fully with the divine power that flows through all things. During these times, it's more important than ever to persist in your practice. Continue to imagine from the state of wealth and abundance. Continue to feel the reality of your oneness with infinite abundance, even if it feels mechanical at first. Persist. This persistence will carry you through the darkness into a new dawn of financial freedom and prosperity. As you move through this process, you'll find your faith in abundance deepening. But this isn't blind faith in some external power to provide for you. It's faith born of experience, faith in the abundant nature that you've come to know intimately through your own direct experience. This power is not something to be grasped or achieved, but a reality to be recognized and allowed. As you learn to align yourself with this power, you find that your actions become more effective, your words more impactful, your presence more transformative. But this power never becomes a source of ego or pride, for you recognize that it is not your own, but a gift of the divine working through you. This faith becomes unshakable because it's not based on external financial circumstances or second-hand knowledge. It's based on your own lived experience of the abundant nature of the universe. No matter what financial challenges arise, you'll face them with confidence, knowing that you are one with the infinite abundance of the universe. Throughout this journey of knowing God through experience, it's important to remember that this is not a path of isolation or withdrawal from the world. On the contrary, as you come to recognize the divine presence more fully in your own life, you're called to engage more deeply and authentically with the world around you. Now let's talk about the role of action in this practice. Some people mistakenly believe that this approach to creating wealth means sitting back and waiting for money to magically appear in your life. Nothing could be further from the truth. You begin to see that every interaction, every relationship, every situation in your life is an opportunity to know God more fully, to express your divine nature more completely. Your work, whatever it may be, becomes a form of worship, a way of bringing the divine into manifestation through your actions and creations. Your relationships become sacred encounters, opportunities to recognize and honor the divine in others. Action is a vital part of this practice, but it's inspired action that flows naturally from your aligned state of consciousness. As you persist in imagining and feeling the reality of your wealth and abundance, you'll find yourself naturally inspired to take steps that move you towards financial freedom. As you deepen your experience of God in your daily life, you may find that your sense of identity begins to shift. You recognize that your true identity is not the limited, separate self that you once believed yourself to be, but the unlimited divine awareness that is the essence of all things. This recognition brings with it a profound sense of freedom and expansion. These inspired actions often don't look like hard work or struggle. They feel easy, natural, even playful. You might find yourself having a conversation that opens up new financial opportunities. You might feel drawn to learn a new skill that proves crucial to your financial success. You might have an insight that solves a money problem you've been grappling with. You begin to see that all the labels and identities that you once clung to, your name, your history, your personality traits, are merely temporary expressions of your true nature. They are like costumes that you wear in the grand play of life, but they're not who you truly are. This is the power of aligning with the abundant nature of the universe. You're no longer pushing against life, trying to make money through sheer force of will. Instead, you're flowing with life, allowing the infinite intelligence of the universe to work through you to create wealth and abundance. This shift in identity, Doesn't mean that you cease to be an individual or that you lose your unique characteristics. Instead, you recognize that your individuality is a unique expression of the divine, a particular way in which God is making itself known in the world. You learn to honor and express your individuality while recognizing the underlying unity that connects you with all things. As you continue on this journey of knowing God through experience, you may find that your relationship with the concept of enlightenment begins to transform. You recognize that enlightenment is not a distant goal to be achieved or a special state to be attained, but your natural state, always present and available to be recognized. This doesn't mean you'll never face financial challenges or that everything will always be easy, but it does mean that you'll approach challenges from a place of inner abundance and wisdom. You'll see them not as obstacles to your wealth, but as opportunities for growth and expansion. As you deepen your practice of creating wealth through your imagination, you'll find that your entire relationship with money begins to shift. You'll no longer see yourself as a small, limited being struggling to acquire scarce resources. Instead, you'll recognize yourself as an integral part of the divine abundance of the universe, a co-creator of your financial reality. This understanding frees you from the struggle to become enlightened or to achieve some imagined perfect state. You recognize that you are already complete, already perfect in your essence. Your journey is not about becoming something you're not, but about recognizing and expressing what you already are. But this recognition doesn't lead to complacency or a lack of growth. On the contrary, it fuels a passionate engagement with life, a desire to express your divine nature more fully in every moment. And you recognize that while you are already complete, there's always room for greater expression, for deeper realization, for more complete manifestation of your divine nature in the world. This shift in perspective changes everything. Financial challenges become opportunities. Losses become stepping stones. Every money-related experience becomes a chance to know your abundant nature more deeply, to express more of your divine nature. As you deepen your experience of God in your daily life, you may find that your understanding of service and contribution begins to shift. You recognize that true service comes not from a sense of duty or obligation, but from a natural overflow of your divine nature. As you align more fully with your true self, you naturally want to share the love, joy, and wisdom that you're experiencing with others. You'll find yourself living in a state of gratitude, not just for the money in your life, but for all experiences. Because you recognize that every experience, pleasant or unpleasant, is an opportunity for growth and expansion of your abundance consciousness. This gratitude isn't just a nice sentiment. It's a powerful force that aligns you more fully with the abundance of the universe. As you cultivate gratitude for the money in your life, you'll find more and more to be grateful. It's a self-reinforcing cycle that continually elevates your financial experience. This service takes many forms. It might be through your work, your relationships, your creative expressions, or simply through your presence and the quality of attention that you bring to each moment. Your life is a grand adventure, a magnificent opportunity to experience the divine nature within you. Every moment, every breath, every thought is a chance to awaken to the profound truth that God resides in your very being. This isn't mere philosophy or wishful thinking. It's a living, breathing reality that you can prove to yourself through direct experience. Consider for a moment the incredible power of your imagination. It's not just a tool for daydreaming or escaping reality. Your imagination is the very essence of creation, the spark of divinity that allows you to shape your world. When you close your eyes and vividly picture a desired outcome, you're not just engaging in fantasy, you're communing with the divine creative force that permeates all existence. Now, I want to address something that often comes up as people deepen their practice. You might find yourself becoming more sensitive, more attuned to the energy of money. You might find that certain ways of earning or spending money that you previously accepted now feel discordant or draining. This increased sensitivity is a natural result of aligning more fully with your abundant nature. As you raise your vibration, anything that's out of alignment with that higher state becomes more noticeable. This might sound lofty or abstract, but I assure you it's as practical as the chair you're sitting on or the air you're breathing. The power to transform your life lies dormant within you, waiting to be awakened and put into action. It's not about wishing for miracles or relying on external forces. It's about recognizing and harnessing the miraculous power that you already possess. Let me share a simple truth that has the potential to revolutionize your entire existence. The outer world is a perfect reflection of your inner state of being. Everything you experience in your daily life, your relationships, your career, your health, your wealth, all of it stems from the thoughts and beliefs you hold in your mind. This isn't about positive thinking or forcing yourself to be optimistic. It's about understanding the fundamental nature of reality and your role as a co-creator with the divine. This doesn't mean you need to completely overhaul your financial life overnight or cut off all income sources that aren't perfectly aligned. But it does mean being more conscious about where you put your financial energy and attention. And you truly grasp this concept, it becomes clear that there's no need to struggle against circumstances or fight to change external conditions. The key to transformation lies in shifting your inner world, in aligning your thoughts and feelings with the reality you wish to experience. This is where the practice of imagination comes into play, not as a form of escapism, but as a powerful tool for manifestation. You might find yourself naturally drawn to more fulfilling ways of earning money, to investments that align with your values, to spending patterns that reflect your true priorities. You might feel called to make changes in your financial life that create more space for the full expression of your abundant nature. Imagine for a moment that you're holding a seed in your hand. Within that tiny speck lies the potential for a mighty tree, with sturdy branches reaching towards the sky and roots delving deep into the earth. But that potential remains dormant until the seed is planted in fertile soil, nurtured with water and sunlight. Your desires, your goals, your dreams, they're like seeds waiting to be planted in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. Trust these impulses. They're coming from the wisdom of your abundant nature, guiding you towards financial experiences that support your continued growth and expansion. As you continue this practice of creating wealth through your imagination, you'll find that your understanding of time in relation to money begins to shift. You'll start to recognize that financial time, as we typically think of it, is an illusion of our limited human perspective. When you engage your imagination, when you create vivid mental images of your desired reality, you're planting those seeds. But here's the crucial part. It's not enough to simply visualize what you want. You must cultivate a feeling of already possessing it, of already being the person you aspire to be. This feeling, this emotional resonance, is the water and sunlight that allows your mental seeds to take root and flourish. From the perspective of infinite abundance, all wealth is now. Past financial struggles and future financial goals exist simultaneously in the eternal now. This understanding has profound implications for how we approach wealth creation and financial. Think about a time when you desperately wanted something, a job, a relationship, a material possession. The more you focused on the lack, on the not having, the further away it seemed. But when you shifted your focus, when you began to feel grateful and abundant, even before receiving what you desired, things often began to shift in miraculous ways. This isn't coincidence or magic. It's the law of attraction in action, a principle as reliable as gravity. Now, I'm not suggesting that you deny reality or pretend that challenges don't exist. Quite the contrary, I'm inviting you to see beyond the surface level of appearances, to tap into the deeper reality that underlies all of existence. When you face obstacles or setbacks, instead of becoming discouraged, recognize them as opportunities to exercise your divine creative power. When you imagine a state of wealth and abundance, you're not projecting into some distant financial future. You're tuning into a reality that already exists in the infinite might of the universe. Your job is simply to align your consciousness with that reality, to feel its truth so deeply that it can't help but manifest in your outer financial world. Every challenge is a call to go within, to examine your beliefs and assumptions, and to realign your inner state with your desired outcome. This isn't about forcing change through sheer willpower. It's about surrendering to the flow of divine wisdom and allowing it to guide your thoughts, words, and actions. This is why it's so important to feel the reality of your imaginal acts of wealth. When you truly feel the joy, the gratitude, the freedom of financial abundance as if it were already accomplished, you're aligning yourself with its reality in the eternal now. Consider the story of Joseph in the Bible. Sold into slavery by his own brothers, imprisoned for years on false charges, he could have easily succumbed to bitterness and despair. But Joseph understood a profound truth, that his circumstances were simply a reflection of his inner state. He refused to see himself as a victim, choosing instead to trust in the divine plan unfolding through his life. From this perspective, wealth creation isn't about making something happen in the future. It's about allowing the abundance that already exists in the divine mind to express itself in your physical financial experience. Even in the darkest moments, Joseph maintained an unwavering faith in his vision of a greater future. He didn't just passively hope for better days. He actively lived from the state of his desired reality. In his mind and heart, he was already the wise and prosperous leader he would eventually become. And sure enough, through a series of seemingly miraculous events, Joseph rose to become the second most powerful man in Egypt, saving countless lives during a devastating famine. This understanding takes all the struggle out of wealth creation. You're not fighting against time or economic circumstances. You're simply aligning yourself with a financial reality that already exists, allowing it to flow into your experience. As you practice this, you'll find that your experience of financial time begins to change. You'll find yourself less anxious about future financial security, less regretful about past money. You'll be more fully present in each financial moment. Recognizing is an opportunity to experience and express your abundant nature. This story isn't just an inspirational tale from ancient time. It's a blueprint for how you can navigate the challenges in your own life. When you face setbacks or obstacles, resist the temptation to dwell on the problem. Instead, turn your attention inward and ask yourself, if I were living my ideal reality, how would I think, feel, and act in this situation? This shift in perspective is subtle but profound. Instead of trying to change external circumstances through force or manipulation, you're aligning your inner state with the reality you wish to experience. And as your inner world shifts, you'll be amazed at how quickly your outer world begins to reflect that change. This shift in your relationship with financial time also changes how you approach your money goals and desires. Instead of striving and struggling to make wealth happen, you'll find yourself relaxing into the certainty of your financial wishes fulfilled. You'll take inspired action not from a place of lack or need, but from a place of joyful financial creation. Now let's talk about the power of words in this practice of creating wealth. The words you speak about money, both internally and externally, are incredibly powerful. They're not just sounds or symbols, they're creative forces that shape your financial reality. Remember, the power to create isn't something you need to acquire or develop. It's your birthright, an innate ability that you've always possessed. The only thing standing between you and the life of your dreams is your own limiting beliefs and habitual thoughts. But here's the liberating truth. So as you've created those limitations, you have the power to uncreate them. Every moment of every day, you're using your imagination to shape your reality. Most of the time, this happens unconsciously. You react to circumstances based on past experiences and ingrained beliefs, perpetuating the same patterns over and over. But when you become aware of this process, when you consciously direct your imagination towards your desired outcomes, you tap into a wellspring of infinite possibilities. When you consistently speak and think from the perspective of wealth and abundance, you are aligning your entire being with that reality. You're instructing the infinite mind within you to bring that financial reality into manifestation. Think about the last time you worried about something. Perhaps it was an upcoming presentation at work, a difficult conversation with a loved one, or a financial challenge. As you focused on all the things that could go wrong, your body likely responded with physical symptoms of stress and anxiety. Your heart rate increased, your palms became sweaty, your stomach tied itself in knots. In that moment, you're using your imagination to create a vivid experience of failure or disaster, even though it hadn't actually happened yet. This is why it's so important to be mindful of your financial self-talk and the words you speak to others about money. Are you speaking from a place of lack, limitation, and financial fear? Or are you speaking from a place of abundance, possibility, and financial freedom? Now imagine if you could harness that same power of imagination to create positive experiences. Instead of dwelling on potential problems, what if you devoted that mental energy to visualizing success, abundance, and joy? The physical and emotional response would be just as real. But instead of stress and anxiety, you'd be filled with confidence, excitement, and a sense of possibility. Now, this doesn't mean denying or ignoring financial challenges when they arise, but it does mean framing those challenges in a way that aligns with your highest financial good. Instead of saying, I can't afford that, you might say, I'm in the process of aligning myself with the abundance necessary to easily afford that. Instead of saying, I'm afraid I'll always be in debt, you might say, I'm excited to discover new ways of creating financial freedom. This isn't about denying reality or ignoring genuine challenges. It's about recognizing that your perception of reality is shaped by your dominant thoughts and beliefs. When you consciously choose to focus on positive outcomes, when you cultivate feelings of gratitude and abundance, even before your desires manifest, you're aligning yourself with the creative power of the universe. These shifts in language might seem small, but they have a powerful effect on your financial consciousness. They align you more fully with the truth of your abundant nature, opening you to greater possibilities and experiences of wealth. Think of it like tuning a radio. Just as there are countless radio waves flowing through the air at any given moment, there are infinite possibilities existing simultaneously in the quantum field. The station you hear depends on the frequency you tune into. Similarly, the reality you experience depends on the thoughts and feelings you consistently entertain. As you practice this, you'll find yourself naturally speaking words of financial encouragement and empowerment, both to yourself and others. Your words will become a powerful force for positive change in your financial life and in the financial lives of those around you. Like you constantly tune into frequencies of lack, high limitation, and fear, that's the station you'll hear, the reality you'll experience. But when you deliberately tune into frequencies of abundance, love, and infinite possibility, your entire world begins to shift. This isn't wishful thinking or naive optimism. It's a practical application of universal laws that govern the nature of reality itself. Now, I want to address something that often comes up as people deepen their practice of creating wealth through imagination. You might find yourself experiencing moments of profound financial peace, joy, and freedom. These experiences can be so blissful that you might be tempted to try to hold on to them to make them last forever. Now, you might be wondering, whose power is so readily available, why isn't everyone using it to create their ideal life? The answer lies in the gap between intellectual understanding and experiential knowing. It's one thing to grasp these concepts intellectually, to nod along and say, yes, that makes sense. It's another thing entirely to apply them consistently in your daily life, to make them a living reality. But it's important to remember that these experiences, wonderful as they are not the ultimate goal of this practice. They're signposts along the way, confirmations that you're aligning more fully with your abundant nature. But the true goal is to integrate this awareness of your abundant nature into every aspect of your finance. This is where the theme of our talk, God is known by experience, becomes crucially important. You can read every self-help book ever written, attend countless seminars, and memorize inspirational quotes until you're blue in the face. But until you put these principles into practice, until you experience their transformative power firsthand, they remain abstract concepts rather than living truths. So how do you bridge this gap between theory and practice? How do you move from intellectual understanding to experiential knowing? The key lies in consistent, dedicated practice. Just as you wouldn't expect to master a musical instrument or a foreign language overnight, you can't expect to completely rewire your habitual thought patterns in an instant. It takes patience, persistence, and a willingness to step out of your comfort zone. This means being willing to return to the world of financial form, to engage fully with money in all its messy, chaotic beauty. It means bringing the peace and joy you experience in your highest moments into your everyday financial interactions and experiences. Start small. But choose one area of your life where you'd like to see positive change. It could be your health, your relationships, your career, or your financial situation. Now, instead of focusing on what's wrong or what's missing, begin to imagine your ideal scenario in vivid detail. Use all your senses to make this mental image as real and tangible as possible. This is where the real work and the real joy of this practice lies. It's not about escaping the financial world, but about transforming your experience of the financial world by knowing it as an expression of infinite abundance. As you continue this practice, you'll find that the line between your spiritual life and your financial life begins to blur. Every money-related moment becomes an opportunity to experience and express your abundant nature. Every financial interaction becomes a chance to know your oneness with infinite abundance more deeply. If you're focusing on health, feel the vitality coursing through your body. Imagine yourself engaging in physical activities with ease and joy. See the admiration in people's eyes as they notice your radiant energy. If it's a career goal, visualize yourself in your dream job. Feel the satisfaction of doing work that you love, the respect of your colleagues, the sense of purpose and fulfillment. The key is to not just see these images, but to feel them as if they're already your reality. This is where many people stumble. They can picture what they want, but they struggle to generate the corresponding emotions. I remember it's the feeling that gives life to your imagination. It's the emotional energy that sends a clear signal to the universe, activating the law of attraction. This is when life becomes truly magical. You'll find yourself in a state of continual wonder and gratitude, marveling at the infinite creativity of the divine as it expresses itself through your financial experiences. If you find it challenging to conjure up these feelings, either think of a time when you felt truly happy, confident, or successful. It doesn't have to be related to your current goal. Just recall that experience in detail, allowing yourself to re-experience those positive emotions. Now, while holding on to that feeling, overlay it onto your vision of your desired outcome. This technique can help bridge the gap between your current reality and your act. You'll approach each day with a sense of excitement and anticipation, knowing that it holds infinite possibilities for financial growth, joy, and expansion. You'll face financial challenges with confidence and grace, knowing that you have the infinite wisdom and abundance of the universe working through you. Practice this visualization exercise daily, preferably first thing in the morning and last thing at night. These are times when your subconscious mind is most receptive to new impressions. As you consistently impress these images and feelings upon your subconscious, you'll begin to notice subtle shifts in your perception and behavior. This is what it means to truly know abundance by experience. It's not about having occasional feelings of wealth or moments of financial transcendence. It's about living each moment in the awareness of your oneness with infinite abundance. As we draw this talk to a close, I want to leave you with a simple practice that you can use to deepen your experience of abundance in your daily financial life. It's a practice that I call the feeling of financial freedom fulfilled. You might find yourself naturally gravitating towards healthier habits without conscious effort. Opportunities related to your career goals may start appearing out of nowhere. Your relationships might begin to improve as you radiate a more positive energy. These synchronicities aren't coincidences, they're evidence of the law of attraction at work, responding to your shifting consciousness. At any moment, no matter where you are or what you're doing, you can pause and ask yourself, how would I feel if I were already financially free? How would I feel if I were fully expressing my abundant nature right now? But here's where many people get tripped up. They expect instant, dramatic results. When they don't see immediate changes in their external reality, they conclude that these principles don't work or that they're somehow doing it wrong. This is a crucial moment. It's an opportunity to deepen your faith, to trust in the unseen processes at work behind the scenes. Remember, just as a seed needs time to germinate and sprout before it breaks through the soil, your desires need time to take root in the fertile ground of your subconscious mind before manifesting in your physical reality. During this gestation period, it's essential to maintain your faith and continue your practice. Even if you don't see immediate results, then allow yourself to feel those feelings. Feel the joy, the peace. This is where many spiritual teachings fall short. They present these principles as a kind of cosmic vending machine. Insert the right thoughts, pull the lever visualization, and out pops your desire. But the process of manifestation is far more nuanced and profound than that. It's not just about getting stuff or achieving external goals. It's about aligning yourself with the creative power of the universe, about becoming a conscious co-creator with the divine. As you persist in your practice, you'll begin to notice a subtle but significant shift. Your focus will gradually move from what you want to get to who you need to become. You'll realize that the greatest gift of this process isn't the material manifestations, although those will come, but the transformation of your own consciousness. You'll start to see yourself and the world around you in a completely new light. Challenges that once seemed insurmountable will become opportunities for growth and self-discovery. Relationships that were once fraught with conflict will become sources of joy and mutual support. Work that once felt like drudgery will become a canvas for your creativity and self-expression. This is the true meaning of the phrase God is known by experience. It's not about intellectual belief or blind faith. It's about directly experiencing the divine creative power within you, about knowing, not just believing, that you are an individualized expression of the infinite intelligence that permeates all of existence. As you continue to apply these principles, you'll discover that manifestation isn't just about creating specific outcomes. It's about aligning yourself with the flow of life about trusting in the perfect unfolding of your journey. You'll find yourself less attached to particular results and more open to the infinite possibilities that each moment holds. This doesn't mean you become passive or stop setting goals. On the contrary, you'll pursue your aspirations with even greater energy and enthusiasm. But you'll do so from a place of inner peace and trust, knowing that the universe is conspiring in your favor, that every experience, whether perceived as positive or negative, is ultimately serving your highest good. You'll begin to see evidence of this divine orchestration everywhere you look. Synchronicities will become a regular occurrence in your life, and you'll find yourself in the right place at the right time, meeting exactly the people you need to meet, encountering precisely the opportunities you need to grow and evolve. As you experience more of this flow, as you see the tangible results of your inner work manifesting in your outer world, your faith will deepen. It will no longer be based on hope or wishful thinking, but on direct personal experience. You'll know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that you are indeed a powerful creator, capable of shaping your reality through the focus of your attention and the power of your imagination. This knowing will infuse every aspect of your life with a sense of magic and possibility. You'll wake up each morning filled with excitement, eager to see what new adventures and opportunities the day will bring. You'll approach challenges with curiosity and confidence, knowing that within every problem lies the seed of an even greater good. Your relationships will take on a new depth and richness as you recognize the divine essence in every person you encounter. Instead of trying to change or fix others, you'll appreciate them for who they are, seeing them as perfect expressions of the infinite in their own unique way. This shift in perception will naturally attract more harmonious and fulfilling relationships into your life. Your work, whatever it may be, will become a joyful expression of your innate creativity. You'll no longer be motivated by external rewards or the need to prove yourself. But instead, you'll be driven by an inner sense of purpose, by the joy of using your unique gifts to make a positive difference in the world. And as you align with this sense of purpose, you'll find that abundance flows to you effortlessly in ways you might never have imagined. But perhaps the most profound change would be in your relationship with yourself. As you consistently practice these principles, as you experience firsthand the power of your imagination to shape your reality, you'll develop an unshakable self-confidence. Not the kind of confidence that comes from external achievements or validation, but a deep, abiding trust in your own divine nature. You'll begin to treat yourself with the same love, respect, and compassion that you'd offer to a dear friend or a beloved child. You let go of self-criticism and negative self-talk, recognizing them as the illusions they are. Instead, you'll cultivate an inner dialogue of encouragement and support, constantly reminding yourself of your infinite potential and inherent worthiness. This self-love isn't selfish or narcissistic. On the contrary, it's the foundation for genuine love and compassion towards others. As you recognize and honor the divine within yourself, you naturally extend that recognition to everyone and everything around you. You begin to see the world not as a place of scarcity and competition, but as an abundant, interconnected web of life, all expressions of the same divine consciousness. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's not a one-time event, but an ongoing process of growth and evolution. There will be moments of doubt, times when old patterns of thinking try to reassert themselves. You might face situations that challenge your faith, that make you question everything you've learned. But here's the beautiful thing. Once you've tasted this truth, once you've experienced firsthand the power of your imagination to shape your reality, you can never truly go back, even in moments of doubt or difficulty. There will be a part of you that remembers, a part that knows the truth of who you really are. In those challenging moments, be gentle with yourself. Remember that you're not just changing a few habits or beliefs. You're fundamentally reshaping your entire worldview. It's natural for there to be some resistance, some back and forth between the old way of being and the new. The key is to not judge yourself for these moments of doubt or backsliding. Instead, view them as opportunities to deepen your practice, to reinforce your commitment to this new way of being.